So, this semester, our assigned text for Journalism 301 news writing was Journalism Ideas by Daniel Reimhold, and I hope I pronounced that correctly. If I didn't, I apologize. So, the chapter that I've chosen to discuss for this video is chapter 12, which discusses beat writing, which is something I'm familiar with during my time with A Sea of Blue and Cats Illustrated. And even though I've had some experience in this line of journalism, I think this chapter was helpful because it gave some tips even I didn't know. I really liked how it suggested that depending on the kind of source you're meeting, that should dictate how you dress. So if you're going to be meeting, say, with an attorney, wearing a nice shirt and a pair of khaki pants, if you're a guy like me, might be a good idea. And it might even be an even better idea to wear a tie. But say you're gonna just be meeting with, I don't know, a trash collector or something like that, I'd probably just go with a shirt like I'm wearing now, basic Henley shirt, and a pair of jeans. That way, when they speak to you, they feel comfortable. I also like that it kind of echoed some advice that my mom gave me when I was student teaching a couple of years ago, and that's get to know the secretary or other support staff at a place where you're trying to solicit information for a story. They know everything. And the fact is, the more you curry favor with the people who actually do the work at the place you cover, I think the better the information you'll get. There were some good other tidbits in there too. I like the fact it said that you need to be professional with your sources. Don't be friends with them. And at the same time, don't treat your sources like a one-stop shop. Take the time to get to know them better. And that way they'll actually feel like you trust them and you're just not trying to get a scoop from them. It's really all about making people feel comfortable for you. At least that's what I took away from the chapter, and I think that's what would probably make someone a better beat reporter. And it's I kind there's one thing I do wish that they discussed and a little bit more in the book, and that's social media. I use social media pretty frequently for my reporting, mainly just to give updates on games, to provide stats, and to link up to link up my stories. I use it as a promotion tool and a way to just get information out there quickly. Personally, I think that's the best way to use Twitter. I see a lot of reporters post things from their personal life. I see them kind of use it as a platform for other things besides their reporting. And I think that that's okay, but you should get a personal Twitter for that. Don't do it on your official Twitter because when you do that, you're tying your personal views and your personal vendettas, so to speak, against your employer or even just somewhere you may write. And I think that comes back kind of bad because it hurts the reputation of the site in general. I think the smart I think the smart way to use social media now is just be professional. You know, uh, there's always Facebook, Snapchat, and stuff like that if you want to have a more personal connection with people. Remember, the fact is, you're not on Twitter to gain a following and be a quasi celebrity if you're a reporter. It's a tool to share information and make sure that stories that matter are being heard. Now, I guess really beside from that in the book, this semester we've had a lot of different assignments in Journalism 301. The first of which was an obituary assignment. I think the challenge for that was just simply trying to come up with a way to get our source, which was a journalism department faculty member at UK, to kind of come up with a death. That's a morbid question to ask people, but I think they're so used to the assignment by now that it's all kind of in good fun. I didn't really find the assignment that challenging. The ones that I did find challenging was the interview assignment. I think that one was tough just for the simple fact that we had to track down two people for our story, and we had to try to find the time to talk to them in about a 2 week time frame, and it really had to match up to their schedule. That's hard to do, especially When you're a college student like me who's really, I work part time and I go to school part time. So I kind of had to bend over backwards with my own schedule to accommodate my sources. And I think that's a lesson, especially for your reporter, that you're not always on your own time. You're on the paper, the website, or the magazine's time. Now, our next assignment was to do, I believe it was, oh yeah, it was a preview assignment. For I believe journalism. Yeah, it was Lunch with the Stars that the journalism department does. Um, Honestly, the big challenge from that is learning how to make what's announced in a press release sound important. That can be a very difficult thing to do, especially when you're trying to make that information your own. So the smart thing to do, and this is what I did, was I looked up some facts about the speakers. I got a student perspective in my one source, and I don't know. That's kind of what I gleaned from it. The next one, we had to attend a public meeting, and again, that was hard. I think that was difficult just simply because the sheer volume of information presented at the city council meeting and the fact that what they go through is very boring. You really have to steel your disposition to find an important story because the day we were there was really only one thing of consequence actually discussed that the public would probably care about. And so I think it was a reminder that if you're going to be a beat reporter, you have to find a way to make even the most mundane things sound exciting. And our final assignment was to do a breaking news one, which I didn't really find that difficult. I cover press conferences and things like that all the time. The smart thing to do, though, was when Professor Hartman was giving us our breaking news, record what he was saying or write notes. Don't start on your story. If you do that, you miss asking your questions. I think I asked over 50% of them in class, and that way I kind of got to donate what I wanted for the story. And when you're out in the field and not just doing it as an exercise, that's frustrating because you're not getting the information you want, and you're just kind of having to take whatever somebody else is dictating and giving you. Well, with that, I'd like to conclude this video by thanking everybody that's watching and hope you all have a happy holiday season.